Super long story short, I, 25 female, was the glass child in my family. Youngest of 5, I'm the only one without severe health or mental issues, so I fell through the cracks. I spent almost all my time alone in my room, reading or playing video games. I generally didn't mind this. I want to make it clear here that I don't resent my parents or siblings. They did not parentify me or make me my siblings' caretakers. My things were never taken for the siblings' benefit. I was invisible because I didn't need them like the other 4 did. When I was 9, I made friends with 2 girls who were also in similar situations as mine, and we were, and still are, our little found family. I went to college with just those 2, and I graduated with just those 2. I moved to a new state with just those 2. My family was busy and that was fine. I didn't mind because that's just how life is when you have 4 sick siblings. Fast forward to last year. Mom calls me 3 days before Thanksgiving, which is super unusual because we don't talk. The last time we spoke was when she was telling me the time and place of a sister's funeral. We texted small talk occasionally. Our relationship is incredibly surface level. Honestly, that's an improvement from my high school years when we had no relationship. Mom asks what time to expect me for Thanksgiving. I had no idea they were planning Thanksgiving this year. She never mentioned it before this. There are only 3 times in my entire life my family tried to do Thanksgiving or Christmas, and it just didn't work for a lot of reasons. I already had plans. Also, if she wanted me to come for Thanksgiving, I would have needed to book a plane ticket months ago. Giving me 3 days' notice is not okay by me. She didn't remember that I live 2 states away now, but was upset that I would leave her alone on Thanksgiving, which felt very guilt-trippy to me because she has a dad. Dad would have spent most of the day visiting brother at the facility he's currently at. He's about 2 hours' drive away from them. When I refused to come a couple of times, she hung up on me. After about 30 minutes of scrolling back to check our messages and making sure I hadn't missed something, I hadn't, I sent her a text to let her know I had a skiing trip booked for Christmas this year, but I'd love to catch up with her and Dad after the new year. Shortly after, I received a text message from Dad telling me that if I didn't come home for Christmas, he would stop paying for my college. I reminded him I graduated 3 years ago and that if he was still paying for someone's school, he should look into that because he'd been scammed. Honestly, I was pretty angry about the guilt trip and the threat, so I just put my phone on mute and ignored it. Mom called a couple more times but stopped. She didn't text me on Thanksgiving or Christmas or respond to me texting her. Now I haven't spoke to my parents since, and my 2 besties are telling me I'm being a jerk and that they would both be super happy if their parents tried to reach out to them. Am I the idiot because I don't care that they try to reach out? Their silence now kind of feels like they're having a tantrum. By the way, Grandma paid for my college. I thought maybe he could have been twisted around thinking the money I got from his mom actually came from him, but even that feels like a stretch. I reminded him I graduated 3 years ago and that if he was still paying for someone's school, he should look into that because he's been scammed. LMAO, I'm sorry, but I laughed out loud at that. What terrible people. You are not the idiot. Your father is so out of touch that he forgot you graduated over 3 years ago, your mother forgot you live 2 states away, and I bet you haven't been there for Thanksgiving or Christmas for years. Their demands are unreasonable, and why are they suddenly worried about not seeing you for special occasions? They're probably starting to worry about who is going to take care of them when they get older and sick themselves. Gotta have a plan B, kid, if you know what I mean. I sympathize that the parents had their hands full with 4 sick children, but come on, how hard is it to give time to OP? This breaks my heart for OP. OP, you go live your life to its fullest. You only get one. Your parents are not your problem. Also, I'd be suspicious if I were you that brother in the residential facility probably needs a guardian assigned for when your parents are gone. Make sure they know you are not the person for the job. I'm in a bind. Early in the month, I found out I'm in the running for a promotion since someone is retiring next month. Last Friday, it was confirmed if I wanted the position, it was mine. It comes with a sizable raise and a bonus. I agreed and told my wife the good news on Valentine's Day. My wife said congratulations, and here is where stuff went downhill very fast. She asked if I would get a raise and stuff, and I said yeah. This is where she asked, so I can stop working now? I thought she was joking, so I said no. Instant tone shift and dumb me said, wait, you weren't joking? This is where she accused me of always playing around. I apologized and explained I love her, but I have no desire to be the sole earner in our marriage. If you want to reduce hours or take on a less stressful role or job, that's a conversation we can have, but I will not entertain the possibility of being the sole earner in our marriage. My wife was upset, and asked why it was such a big deal since my new position's income would be more than what we're currently making together. I explained that we could re-look at how the bills are split and stuff, but I kindly asked her to respect that I do not want to be the only person who brings in income. She asked, do I even love her? She mentioned how her other friends have husbands who let their wives stay home. I got annoyed by this question and told her that maybe she should have married one of those guys. I do know my final comment was out of line and I did apologize for it. She wouldn't accept it and has given me the cold shoulder since. She asked if I even love her comment did sting, and I did act like a jackass by saying what I did. This has always been something I felt strongly towards. She was also aware of how I felt, but honestly, I don't think either of us thought either would be in a position to do so. I know I never thought I would be. She did explain the benefits of her staying home. The problem is I enjoy meal prep, cooking and cleaning. I listen to podcasts during that time, little moments of zen. I like the current setup where we split the chores. I do not want or need her to take on a larger load. I get her job is frustrating and stressful. That's why I said she can explore options to reduce her stress or find a less stressful job. She wants out. I get working sucks, I fully get it. But I tried to tell her what she's feeling is normal, and at the same time, adults work because we need to. This is what she told me. In this case, both of us don't need to work. Technically speaking, she's right. With my new income, she wouldn't have to work. But on the other hand, I don't want to be the sole earner. This doesn't make me a failure as a husband or a man. She made jabs that made it feel as such. Even if we had kids, I would be against it, just the way I was raised. Both my parents worked and they shared the load across the board. Just how I feel. I don't know, maybe I am wrong or have a dated view. I tried everything to get her to talk to me, but I'm at a loss. Wait, you don't have kids? Then why the heck would she need to stay home? Not the idiot. Just because you're getting promoted doesn't mean she should quit. Both of you working will allow you to achieve your long-term financial goals faster, allowing you both to retire. Anyone who uses "don't you love me" or any of that BS, well, that's classic manipulation tactics. Good luck, brother. I wouldn't be surprised if OP's wife suddenly and mysteriously got fired or let go so she can use that excuse to stay home. Those wives probably have personal trainers to keep them busy. OP, you deserve better, because one day she will hold this over your head when things aren't going well. Don't have kids with her. She's lazy, wants you to support her. Freeloader wife. Good grief, you can save your raise and retire early. You guys need a long-term financial plan. She can't just dip out of the workforce. Look at how much you can make year over year by just investing your extra money. Also, you didn't say anything mean. Marriage is a partnership. She's not partnering. She's making a half out of not getting her way. My 47 female husband, 51, has a daughter from a previous marriage who's 19. My husband and I also have 2 kids together who are both toddlers. My stepdaughter has never liked me. My husband told me not to worry about it and told me that she was mad at him and not me. I met her soon after her parents' divorce, and I figure it had to do with that and her age. She was 15 when we met, and that she would grow out of it. However, it's been 4 years and she still avoids me and is always angry when we're together. Both times that I was pregnant, my stepdaughter congratulated us but was completely uninvolved beyond that. She didn't come to the baby shower for my first child and didn't come to visit in the hospital either time. Even now we've been trying to arrange for her to spend time with them and she turns us down every time. Last week we got into an argument. She came to our house to pick up a jacket she left last time she was here. She was only here for a few minutes and my oldest started to play with her and my stepdaughter said that she didn't have time and left. I called her later and told her that she was... You call yourself a stepmother, but in reality you are her dad's wife. Nothing more. I think you have to learn to accept that and stop trying to force your family on her. Makes me wonder, was OP the reason for divorce? OP met stepdaughter's dad soon after her parents' divorce, and OP was immediately pregnant after meeting her husband. Also, I have no evidence of this, but I get the strong impression that OP is really upset because they expected stepdaughter to babysit and that isn't happening. Total assumption on my part, but I wouldn't be surprised. Lady, wake up. Your stepdaughter doesn't want anything to do with her bio dad's new family. And newsflash here, she doesn't have to, so quit trying the "we're all one happy family" crap on her. From what you wrote, she hasn't been mean, quite the opposite, and she did act like an adult. She didn't want to play with your kid and stated so. So some advice, back off and leave his daughter alone. My brother was widowed young and had 2 girls at the time. They were 3 and 4 when their mom died. When they were 7 and 8, my brother married his second wife, and he also became a stepfather to his wife's pre-tween daughter. For the sake of making the post a little easier, my nieces will be Mia, teen, and Ella, young teen, and my step-niece will be Katie, same age as Ella. About once a month I have all 3 girls for a day of fun. I live near a water park and I take my small kiddos, so taking the girls is easy, and it was a tradition that started with Mia and Ella and later included Katie when my brother became her stepfather. That's something that still continues today. My brother has mentioned to me that he and his wife are concerned that Mia and Ella don't consider Katie their sister and really only tolerate her. This has come from comments Katie made to her mum about feeling like an only child still, and feeling as though Ella and Mia don't really want her hanging out with them, and that they only say yeah because they don't want to get into trouble for excluding her. My brother mentioned that Ella and Mia never fight with Katie, but they never seem to have a great time with her either. He said even when Ella and Mia are fighting, neither will go to Katie to hang out. They do their own thing or hang with friends. And when they're together, they will hang out and Katie only joins if she asks them. They never ask her or make the effort to include her. My sister-in-law told me Ella and Katie should get along way better than they do. She told me Ella doesn't show any interest in Katie that way though, despite them liking the same things. Both my brother and sister-in-law said they try to cultivate the individual relationships with Katie by taking Ella or Mia out someplace with her, but that doesn't seem to make Ella or Mia any closer to her. If anything, they go along with it out of obligation. My brother told me that Ella and Mia don't even notice when Katie goes home to her dad sometimes. Katie splits her time between her mom and her dad, so she'll be there for a week and then she's with her dad for a week. He said he never even realized how little attention they pay to Katie until recently. They did realize the closeness wasn't there, but the level at which they really don't notice her is alarming. He then told me I needed to help them out more with this. His request confused me because I already take all 3 for a fun day out once a month and I have babysat for them on occasion. I don't know what he expects from me when I have my own kids. I told him that. I asked him what exactly he expected me to do, and he told me I should know what he expects and I should be a little more willing to help so Katie doesn't feel like she's on her own. He told me I was intentionally being obtuse. It became more tense than I expected and it made me wonder, am I the idiot for asking him that? Not the idiot. He's upset that you asked because he doesn't know himself either. There's nothing you can do, nor do you have any obligation to do anything about this. This is something your brother and his wife have to work towards. It is in no way your issue. This is not a concern you have to work on. He didn't answer because he can't. He got defensive because he wanted to make this someone else's problem and deflect responsibility. You should help us out more. How? You should know how. You're not in the wrong here, OP. He's expecting you to know what he expects. Does he want you to take them to therapy instead of the water park? Because therapy could help the situation. You're literally asking him directly because you can't read his mind. You definitely don't assume to know his thoughts, and that's why you ask. Please speak to your nieces and ask them how they feel. Background info. My husband is named Brad. Valerie is our daughter who's in 8th grade, and Denise is Brad's sister. Valerie's school hosts a New York trip for graduating 8th grade. It's in late June, but the deadline to register for the trip and pay the fee is in 2 weeks. The problem is, the date conflicts with the out-of-state trip we take every 2 years to visit husband's sister Denise and parents. Brad's argument is that Valerie's at an age where her friendships now will most likely fade by the time she's an adult, and Denise and her grandparents are family, so she'll regret it and realize what he's insisting on now is the right choice. The thing is that Valerie isn't particularly close with Denise or her grandparents on Brad's side, and she's told me that she doesn't want to visit her family on Brad's side if it means missing her graduation trip this year, and it won't be the same as if she went to New York as an adult. I argued my side with Brad and that Valerie will simply resent the trip to Brad's family if it means missing her graduation trip, as well as that we're all in good health and can reasonably expect that everyone will still be here when we visit again in 2 years. Brad insists that Valerie will realize when she's older that spending time with her family is the right choice, and she will be thankful for it when she's an adult. Brad and I are still on opposing sides, and I've told him that I will sign off on Valerie's graduation trip and pay the fee out of my savings regardless of what he says. Am I in the wrong for putting my foot down and making sure our daughter gets to go on this trip against Brad's wishes? Valerie has already missed so many experiences and didn't even get a 5th grade graduation because of the global issue. She's worked so hard this year to improve her grades to be allowed on this trip, and I feel we need to make up for those lost events as much as possible. Not the idiot. Valerie deserves to go on this trip. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience that she's going to treasure forever. Your in-laws aren't going anywhere, and your daughter barely has a bond with them due to the distance. Plus, this is a semi-annual trip, and like you said, she'll see them again in 2 years when you guys go again. I was in band in high school, and every 2 years there was a big trip. It alternated between Disney and a cruise to Bermuda. My parents didn't let me go to either one as punishment for some stupid stuff. I had a Facebook account without their permission, and that's why I wasn't allowed on one of the trips. I resent the heck out of it. I missed out on incredible memories with my friends. It's essential that your daughter makes memories and builds confidence going out into the world. Send her to New York.